YouTube, how's it going? Frogs Angels is back with some more NFL content, and we've been covering these pick five of the best of each position group graphics that's being tweeted out from NFL Network. Uh, Fun thing, just a fun thing in the off season here. I did the corners, did the quarterbacks, receivers a little while back. If I missed any of these, please point me in the direction of them on Twitter or wherever, and I'll be happy to cover them. So we're going to cover pass rushers today, obviously. There's so many good ones. This is the hardest one by far so far to pick five of these guys, and there's that other spot where there are plenty of guys that are deserving to be in this list with these guys. So I want you guys involved in the comments. Please pick your five. Pick who should be on the other spot. If you have another, put them in your five if you want. Just love seeing different people's opinions here. See if we get a lot that match up. That's always very interesting. Before we get into my takes, our subscriber goal is 10K subscribers. So if you haven't clicked that subscribe button yet, please do so to help us reach our goal. Thank you very much. But on to the locks. I only have two locks, actually. And they are Von Miller from the Broncos and Khalil Mack from the Raiders. There's one guy that you probably expect in the locks. We'll go over him in a second. But any of these lists, I have them in order how they're listed on the graphic. So Von Miller, it's not any specific ranking or order. I'll eventually get to my defensive position rankings. Did a bunch of offense. We'll eventually get there. Don't worry. So Von Miller, Khalil Mack, dominant pass rushers. Von Miller, 3-4 outside linebacker. Khalil Mack's actually played both 3-4 outside linebacker and 4-3 end. So very impressive. Picking which one is better is another debate, a very interesting debate. Very similar style players. So they're my locks, and you may be wondering where J.J. Watt is. Well, I did not put him in my locks, and that's because he hasn't, over the past 2 years, he hasn't really played that many games, hasn't been able to stay healthy. So J.J. Watt's got his own page here. He's a lock, if healthy. I can even go as far as saying, if healthy, he's the best player on this list. He may be the best player in the NFL, defensively and just in general. Could be back on top. Could be the defense MVP if healthy. So I think very highly of him. I just want to see him healthy. I'm not going to include him. At the end, I'll actually give you my five from this list. He's not going to be in there because I want to see him more healthy. Last 2 years, barely played any games, it feels like. So I kept him out for now. But again, I think very highly of him. I think he could be not just the best defensive player, the best player in the NFL if healthy and still at his game, which you expect him to be if he's on the field. So there's two guys on this list, just two guys that still for sure have not reached their potential, could get even better. The rest of the guys could have maybe their best season of their career, but it's not going to be that much different than what we've seen in the past. So those two guys are Joey Bosa and Jadeveon Clowney. So pretty obvious there are two young guys that continue to get better, and you expect them to get better. Clowney is just, I don't really expect him to get better in the run game. He's just dominant in the run game. Obviously, the pass game is more important, so he can get better as a pass rusher. But that's pretty scary. If he reaches that potential, then he could be the best of the best in the league because he's maybe on this entire list. Definitely top three in run stopping ability. Definitely top three right now. So that's impressive. When I'm picking my five, I'm picking guys for right now. So do these two potential guys make the list? They would be on the list maybe a year from now for sure. A couple years from now, I expect two of them to be on the top five list. Who could be in that other spot? That's another interesting debate. I did that for the corners. I kind of discussed who could possibly be in that spot, who other people can think can be in that spot. There's a list of guys. I tried to narrow it down. I tried to pick some here. There's a list of guys that could be in another spot. Multiple excellent pass rushers today at today's NFL. So here's some guys that I wanted to talk about. Brandon Graham, how is he not on this list? How is he not on this list? It's ridiculous. Ryan Kerrigan from the Redskins, Pro Bowler year after year. Excellent pass rusher, plays in the 3-4. Justin Houston, he's been towards the top of the league in sacks pretty much every year, last few years that I can remember. Daniil Hunter, the other Vikings pass rusher, young, just got a big contract. Yannick Ngakoue, excellent rookie from last year. I guess I'm not surprised not on here because you want to see more of him. And then Vic Beasley, maybe another guy we want to see more of, but people were already starting to consider elite after he led the league in sacks 2 years ago. I think they're kind of trying to switch his position a little bit in Atlanta. A very good defensive mind over there, very good coaching, but he wasn't used as much of a pass rusher when on the field than he was the year he got the sack. So I don't think he should get penalized for that. So Vic Beasley could also be in that on this list in the other spot. So let me know what you guys think out of these guys, which guys deserve to be in there. If I missed any, I know there's quite a few extras that could be in there as well. So let me know. Let me know. You probably could make 5 guys from an other list out of any other guy that's on this list that could match up next to the 5 guys on this list. That's pretty interesting. But what I want to do here is actually pick 5 guys from this list. We're not going to use the other. I would strongly consider Brandon Graham and Vic Beasley, probably the top 2 on that list. Daniil Hunter from 2 years ago, maybe. It was ridiculous, and he's only 23, so I think he can step it up, make this list. But again, Brandon Graham, Vic Beasley, I would strongly consider. But at the end of the day, I wanted to pick 5 from this list. Again, J.J. Watt, I want to see more of. Not to know if he's good or not, obviously, to know if he can play healthy still. Because it's a legitimate concern. But I'm expecting him to be healthy this year. Expecting. So I had to pick 5. And again, the order isn't specific. It's just how they're listed. So I went with Chandler Jones. I went with Von Miller, Khalil Mack, Everson Griffin, and Melvin Ingram. So I left out the 2 guys with the big potential. I expect them to be on here in the very near future. I didn't choose Joey Bosa, but I chose his teammate Melvin Ingram. If you watch our NFL videos, I've probably raved about Melvin Ingram before. So impressive. Basically plays 2 positions. You know, there's teams that play 3-4 and there's teams that play 4-3. A team like the Chargers basically plays a hybrid. They play both. But Joey Bosa is playing a 4-3 DN. Melvin Ingram is basically playing both, and he's been playing it at a high level. Just what he brings to the field is just ridiculous. Chandler Jones just led the league in sacks, and it's not just last year. The 2 years before it, he had over double-digit sacks, over 10 sacks. I think he's become quite underrated because he just led the league in sacks, and people are talking about other guys more. Von Miller and Khalil Mack, I already went over their locks. Elite defensive players. And Everson Griffin, I am a Vikings fan, so maybe it's biased, but I do love Everson Griffin. I think he is an elite 4-3 DN, brings so much energy, and at the top of the league in sacks the last few years. So either way, I'm choosing Everson Griffin there. So those are my 5. I think if I had to say, even though this was hard to make, right away, right when looking at it, I had an idea of who I was putting in there, and I'd say obviously Von Miller and Khalil Mack were obvious, but I knew I was going to put Everson Griffin in there, and I love Melvin Ingram's game so much, so I pretty much had 4 in mind right away, and the debate was if J.J. Watt should be in there, even though he hasn't played many games the last few years, and Chandler Jones, and I actually went back, looked up some Chandler Jones, just because I wanted to see if he was that as good the past few years before leading the league in sacks, and he was. I think people are forgetting that he had over double-digit sacks the 2 years prior or before leading the league in sacks. So that was the reason I put him in there. Calais Campbell was excellent last year. I think he can be excellent again this year. It's hard to see him having that good of a year. Maybe close in a very good season, but it's hard to see him having as good of a season. I do love Jadeveon Clowney. I love him in the run game so much, but the run game maybe not as important as it's not as important as pass game. Cameron Jordan, I think pretty similar to Everson Griffin. I just thought Everson Griffin was a little better. I think Everson Griffin, talking about jump off the ball and athleticism off the ball, spin move on the outside, I think he could be the best in the NFL in those 3 categories, or maybe that's 2 categories. And then DeMarcus Lawrence, first half of the year, looked like the best pass rusher in the NFL. Kind of disappeared a little bit. Needs to stay more consistent. We'll see. Definitely belongs on this list, but a guy that I need to see more of. I need to see more consistency. So really all these guys were considered. So we'll see where they rank when I do my rankings. Obviously, we have a debate between Von Miller and Khalil Mack at the top as the best pass rusher in the NFL. Let me know your guys' thoughts. I don't need rankings. I just want your 5 who should be in that other spot. Plenty of guys should be in that other. Really, this graphic could have been way bigger than any other position group. Receivers, I guess, could have been pretty big too. But let me know your guys' thoughts. Appreciate the comments. Again, love to see when multiple comments match up. Exactly. Pretty interesting. But that'll do it for this one. Please click that subscribe button if you haven't already. Our subscriber goal is 10K subscribers, so help us out. That'll do it for this one. Check out all our videos. Goodbye.